Cosmology Part 1. There are two worlds, the microcosm and the macrocosm, the internal and the external. We get truth from both of these by means of experience. The truth gathered from internal experience is psychology, metaphysics, and religion. From external experience is the physical sciences. Now, a perfect truth should be in harmony with experiences in both these worlds. The microcosm must bear testimony to the macrocosm, and the macrocosm to the microcosm. Physical truth must have its counterpart in the internal world, and the internal world must have its verification outside. Yet, as a rule, we find that many of these truths are in conflict. At one period of the world's history, the internals become supreme and they begin to fight the externals. At the present time, the externals, the physicists, have become supreme and they have put down many claims of psychologists and metaphysicians. So far as my knowledge goes, I find that the real essential parts of psychology are in perfect accord with the essential parts of modern physical knowledge. It is not given to one individual to be great in every respect. It is not given to one race or nation to be equally strong in the research of all fields of knowledge. The modern European nations are very strong in their research of external physical knowledge, but they are not so strong in their study of the inner nature of man. On the other hand, the Orientals have not been very strong in their researches of the external physical world, but very strong in their researches of the internal. Therefore, we find that Oriental physics and other sciences are not in accordance with Occidental sciences or the Occidental psychology in harmony with Oriental psychology. The Oriental physicists have been routed by Occidental scientists. At the same time, each claims to rest on truth. And as we stated before, real truth in any field of knowledge will not contradict itself. The truths internal are in harmony with the truths external. We all know the theories of the cosmos according to the modern astronomers and physicists. And at the same time, we all know how woefully they undermine the theology of Europe, how these scientific discoveries that are made act as a bomb thrown at its stronghold. And we know how theologians have in all times attempted to put down these researches. I want here to go over the psychological ideas of the Orientals about cosmology and all that pertains to it. And you will find how wonderfully they are in accordance with the latest discoveries of modern science, and where there is disharmony. You will find that it is modern science which lacks and not they. We all use the word nature. The old Sankhya philosophers call it by two different names, Prakriti, which is very much the same as the word nature, and the more scientific name Avyakta, undifferentiated, from which everything proceeds, such as atoms, molecules, and forces, mind, thought, and intelligence. It is startling to find that the philosophers and metaphysicians of India stated ages ago that mind is material. What are our present materialists trying to do but to show that mind is as much a product of nature as the body? And so is thought, and we shall find by intelligence also all issues from that nature which is called avyakta, the undifferentiated. The Shankyas define it as the equilibrium of three forces, one of which is called sattva, another rajas, and the third tamas. Tamas, the lowest force, is that of attraction. A little higher is rajas, that of repulsion, and highest is the balance of the two, sattva, so that when these two forces, attraction and repulsion, are held in perfect control by the sattva, there is no creation, no movement in the world. As soon as this equilibrium is lost, the balance is disturbed, and one of these forces gets stronger than the other, motion sets in, and creation begins. This state of things goes on cyclically, periodically. That is to say, there is a period of disturbance of the balance when forces begin to combine and recombine and things project outwards. At the same time, everything has a tendency to go back to the primal state of equilibrium, and the time comes when that total annihilation of all manifestations is reached. Again, after this period, a whole thing is disturbed, projected outwards, and again it slowly goes down like waves. All motion, everything in this universe can be likened to waves undergoing successive rise and fall. Some of these philosophers hold that the whole universe quiets down for a period. Others hold that this quietening down applies only to systems. That is to say, that while our systems here, the solar system, will quiet down and go back into the undifferentiated state, millions of other systems will go the other way and will project outwards. I should rather favor the second opinion, that this quietening down is not simultaneously over the whole of the universe, and that in different parts different things go on. But the principle remains the same, that all we see, that is nature herself, is progressing in successive rises and falls. The one stage falling down, going back to balance, the perfect equilibrium, is called pralaya, the end of the cycle. The projection and the pralaya of the universe has been compared by theistical writers in India to the outbreathing and inbreathing of God. God, as it were, breathes out the universe and it comes into him again. When it quiets down, what becomes of the universe? It exists only in finer forms, in the form of cause, as it is called in the Sankhya philosophy. It does not get rid of the causation, time, and space. They are there, only it comes to a very fine and minute forms. Supposing that this whole universe begins to shrink till every one of us becomes just a little molecule, we should not feel the change at all, because everything relating to us would be shrinking at the same time. The whole thing goes down and again projects out, the cause brings out the effect, and so it goes on.